Let me ask you something. Are you a project manager or are you a project leader? Because believe me, there is a world of difference. Today, we're going to look past the Gantt charts, beyond the status reports, and really get to the strategic heart of what modern project management is all about. We'll be using the industry's own playbook, the PMBOK guide, to figure out how the best PMs stop just managing tasks and start creating real measurable business value. This is such a perfect way to think about it. The conductor of an orchestra, they don't actually play a single instrument, do they? And yet they are completely responsible for the entire symphony. Their job is to bring together all these different specialists, each an expert in their own right, and unify them into one powerful, cohesive performance. Well, that's a strategic project manager. They're the ultimate integrator, the one person who sees the whole picture and brings that vision to life.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll really nail down this idea of the PM as a conductor, not a clerk. Then, we'll explore the world they operate in, their sphere of influence. We'll dive deep into the essential skills of the talent triangle, and then we're going to focus on the master skill of them all, integration. We'll get super clear on the difference between leading and managing, and finally, we'll chart a course for how you can become a PM who delivers serious strategic value.
So let's start right at the beginning. Before we can even talk strategy, we have to be absolutely crystal clear on what a project manager is, and maybe more importantly, what they are not. Is this just an admin role, or is it a true leadership position? Well, the PMBOK guide doesn't leave any room for debate on this one.
Here's the official word. And you see that keyword right in the middle? Lead. A project manager isn't just watching over things. They are actively leading a team. This is what makes them different from, say, a functional manager who runs a department or an operations manager who keeps the lights on day to day. A PM is focused on a specific, unique goal, and their number one job is to guide the team to get there.
And this, right here, is the big idea of our whole explainer today. A PM's real job isn't about checking tasks off a list. It's about strategic integration. They are the single person who's responsible for weaving everything together: the scope, the schedule, the budget, the people, the risks, and making sure it all serves a larger business purpose. Think of them as the bridge connecting the day-to-day work of the project to the company's overall strategy.
Okay, now that we have our definition, let's zoom out. A project manager's job doesn't end with their immediate team, not even close. To be really good, they have to play in a much, much bigger arena. This is what the PMBOK guide calls the sphere of influence.
The best of the best are absolute masters of this concept. They get that project success is way more about navigating relationships and politics than it is about just managing a schedule. And this happens on multiple levels, within the team, across the entire company, and even out into the wider industry. It's kind of like a multi-level chess game, and a great PM knows how to play on every single board. So this basically maps out the project manager's entire universe. And it's not just a random list. It's a web of critical relationships that all need to be managed. You've got your team, of course. Then you have the sponsors who control the money, the stakeholders who are affected by your work, the suppliers you depend on, the customers you're building for, and the resource managers who you need to get the right people. The project manager sits right in the middle, like a central hub, making sure everything and everyone is connected and aligned. Let's start with sphere number one, the project itself. This is the PM's home turf. This is where they're leading the team day in and day out, juggling what we call the iron triangle: scope, schedule, and budget, plus quality, resources, and risk. It's all about taking that big, high-level vision and turning it into a concrete, actionable plan that keeps the team moving in the right direction. Okay, next we step out into the organization. In this sphere, the PM has to be part diplomat, part warrior. They're constantly talking to other PMs, often competing for the same limited pool of people and money. They have to be the biggest cheerleader for their project, constantly selling its value to leadership and making sure it stays perfectly aligned with the company's big picture goals. This takes some serious political skill and a lot of negotiation. And finally, we have the third sphere, the industry. A great project manager never ever works in a bubble. They always have their finger on the pulse of what's happening out there. New technologies, shifts in the market, new best practices. Why? Because that external context can change everything about a project, from its risks to its opportunities. This is how you make sure your project is not just done, but is also relevant. So, if a project manager has to operate in all these different spheres, what skills do they actually need to pull it off? For that, we can turn to the definitive framework from the Project Management Institute, the Talent Triangle. Let's be honest. In today's world, just knowing how to build a project schedule, that's the bare minimum. That's just table stakes. It's not nearly enough. What organizations are really looking for are project managers who bring a much more complete, balanced skill set to the job. The true world-class PMs are multidimensional leaders. And this is that perfect model of what those skills look like. The PMI talent triangle lays it out beautifully. You've got technical project management, that's the how of getting the job done. You've got strategic and business management, that's the why and the what. And then, arguably most important, you have leadership, that's the who. Because at the end of the day, projects are all about people. Let's start with the foundation. Technical project management is really the nuts and bolts of the role. This is knowing the domains inside and out. Risk, scope, schedule, cost, all that good stuff. It means you have the right tools in your toolbox and you know exactly how and when to use them to get the project done right. This is your core craft. Next up is strategic and business management. And this is what really separates a tactician from a true strategic partner. It's all about seeing the big picture. It's understanding your company's strategy, the market it plays in, and what actually drives the business financially. A PM with these skills isn't just delivering a project, they're delivering business value and make and explain exactly how. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most critical corner of the triangle, leadership. This is 100% about people. You have to remember every project is an engine for change, and change is hard for people. Leadership is the art of guiding a team through that change. It's building trust, painting a clear vision, fighting for resources, solving problems, and inspiring people to do their absolute best work, even when things get tough.
Okay, now we've arrived at the master skill. This is the one competency that ties the entire talent triangle together. It's what truly defines the unique value that only a project manager can bring to the table. Let's talk about integration.
And this is a hugely important point. You can have a specialist for just about anything on a project, a scheduler, a risk analyst, a cost expert. But the one job that rests solely on the project manager's shoulders is weaving all those different pieces into a single, cohesive whole. It's their primary function, and you absolutely cannot delegate it. Now, integration isn't just one thing. It's actually happening on a few different levels. At the process level, you're literally connecting all the formal project management processes together. At the cognitive level, you're using your own experience and intuition to connect dots that other people might not see. And then at the context level, you're plugging the project into the bigger business environment, the company's strategy, its culture, the market. It's like seeing the project in 3D.
So, when you boil it all down, integration is the PM's secret weapon for dealing with complexity. Because let's face it, projects are messy. They have countless moving parts, hidden dependencies, and tricky human dynamics. The act of integration is what takes all that potential chaos and turns it into a coordinated, unified effort, driving everyone and everything toward a single strategic goal.
Now, to be a really great integrator, a project manager has to be a master of their tools. And two of the most powerful but also most misunderstood tools are management and leadership. Making a very clear distinction between these two is absolutely essential for any PM who wants to be seen as a strategic player. This chart just nails the difference. See, management is about control and stability. It directs people, it maintains systems, and it's all about doing things right. Leadership, on the other hand, is about influence and change. It guides people, it inspires trust, and it focuses on doing the right things. A great PM has to do both, of course. You manage the work, but you lead the people. And the real strategic value, that comes from the leadership. So let's bring all these concepts home. Let's tie it all together and figure out what this means for you. How do you actually make that leap from being a project administrator to being a creator of strategic value? And just like that, we've come full circle. Right back to our orchestra conductor. A truly great project manager doesn't just check off boxes. They conduct a symphony. They use their understanding of their sphere of influence, they expertly balance the skills from the talent triangle, and they masterfully wield the power of integration, all to make sure that the final result isn't just a finished project, but a beautiful piece of music that adds real value to the organization's strategic goals. So as we finish up, I want to leave you with one question to really think about. Look at your own work or the work of the PMs around you. Is the main focus on just managing tasks, hitting the dates, staying in the budget? Or is the focus on leading the creation of value? Asking, why are we doing this? Connecting it to strategy, and inspiring a team to build something that truly matters. Because the answer to that question is the difference between good project management and great project leadership.